Right. Okay, so we are also recording this session, so it will be available after today if people do want to refer back to it. Okay. Okay. Okay, so just to let people know, those who have just arrived to the presentation, we're just waiting for a few more people to register or for a few more people to log in and be attendees. So for those of you who are just arriving now, we will get started in just a minute or two. We're just waiting for those who've registered to log in and attend. I can still see we've got a few more coming through, which is great. Yep, excellent. Okay, this is good. Numbers keep going up. No, this is good. For those of you just arriving, we'll be starting in just 1 to 2 minutes, just waiting for the attendee numbers to creep up a little bit, and then we will get going. So thank you for your patience. Just a minute or two and we'll get started. Okay, just another 30 seconds, I think, and then we will start the session. Okay, so I think we will get started. Thank you everyone for attending the University of Bristol session today. Allow me to first of all introduce myself. My name is Gary Coulter. I work for the University of Bristol and I live in Bristol, just to the north of the university. I'm delighted to be here today and welcome you all to our presentation. We'll be covering quite a few different topics today regarding the university and also applying. And please allow me to introduce my fellow panelists. Start with David.
Hi everyone, my name is David Thomas. I work very closely with Gary. I'm here at Anglo Latino and also the Latin America representative for the University of Bristol based in Mexico. Entonces, bienvenidos a todos. Cualquier duda durante la presentación podemos contestar o en inglés o en...
Y hola, yo soy María Alejandra, o Victoria, como dice y yo voy a estar ayudándolos porque yo soy un current student, yo acabo de hacer mi foundation program, y cualquier pregunta que tengan de venir a Bristol, o de estar aquí, o de estudiar el application process y todo eso, I'm here to help you.
Okay, thank you very much. So what we're going to do is I will share my screen in just a minute so that you can all see the presentation that we're about to deliver. Just before we do that, just to run through a few housekeeping rules for today. There is an opportunity for people to ask questions during the session in the Q&A tab at the bottom of your screens. If you have any questions that you would like answered, you can ask in there and we will try to answer those as we go through and at the end of the presentation as well. But we are going to probably answer a lot of those questions that people may have in the presentation. So if you try and watch the presentation first and get your answers from that, and then afterwards, if you haven't got any, if that question hasn't been answered, you can of course ask it in the Q&A. And once the presentations are finished, we will open up the Q&A and we will answer as many questions from there as we can for those who are interested. So without further ado, I'm going to try and share my screen. Let me just do that now. David and Victoria, can you confirm if this is sharing? It's good. Okay, fantastic. So as I said, my name is Gary Coulter. I am the International Market Development Manager at the University of Bristol. I am about to give you a little presentation on the University of Bristol. Following that, my colleague David Thomas, who works for, or is the manager and the director of Anglo-Latino, he will give a short presentation about the work that they do to obviously help and support literally hundreds and hundreds of students from all over Latin America to come to the University of Bristol and a variety of different universities in the UK. And then we're very fortunate to be able to hear from Victoria as well, who is a current student at the University of Bristol. She's from the República Dominicana, and there's a nice picture and a little bit of text here, just from her directly, just so that you get to know and you get to actually hear from somebody who is currently in Bristol right now, is a current student, and what she thinks of the university, and just some of her general observations after being in Bristol and the university for a year. So we look forward to hearing from her just a little bit later. So the University of Bristol, there's a few, I won't sort of go through every single fact individually, but just to give you an overview of who we are and what we do. I should have said, if I'm just going to stop sharing my screen for a second, because there's one thing I've forgotten to do, which is to do a quick poll. Just because I wanted to know, so out of the people who are attending, if I could ask you to please click on this poll, just so that we can get a little better idea of who you are and when you're interested in coming. So the first question is the start date. So when are you interested in coming to the University of Bristol? I see that we have 12 out of 17 people have voted so far. I see we've got quite a few for September 2021. We've got 3 for this September, which is great, and a couple for another later date. That's great. Okay. And that is the first question. Well, that's great. That's really good to know. I can see this. We've got a decent mix. Quite a few for September 2021. And okay. And the second question that we have is what level you're looking to study at. So if I could ask you to just quickly click here. Oh, we've got a nice little mix here. Oh, fantastic. And this will just help us to give you a little bit of better information during the presentation. Oh, so I see it's a very nice mix. So we've got, what have we got so far? We've got 6 undergraduates, 8 masters and 2 doctorados. That's great. Fantastic. So we have a nice mix of undergraduate and postgraduates, and a couple of PhDs. Okay, well, thank you very much for that. That's really useful just for us to know, so we can make sure that our presentation is given as best we possibly can. So let me see. I just make sure. So David and Victoria, is this launched properly again? Yes, are we good? Excellent. Okay, so thank you guys. Sorry for that brief pause there. As I was saying, so the University of Bristol, it's a very old university. We were established, first of all, in 1876, and it's a very sort of famous university in the UK. It's won a number of different awards. It's been linked to 13 different Nobel Prize winners, which is, of course, a very impressive academic achievement in its own right. We have around 20,000 undergraduate students and around 7,000 postgraduate students at the university at the moment. So that's not the biggest university in the UK, but it's still a fairly substantial size. There we go. So the university itself is really a very, very highly regarded academically, and that is demonstrated through the rankings and reputation of the university. So in the very latest QS World Rankings, which only came out just a few weeks ago, we are currently the 9th best university in the UK, and we were chosen as the 58th best university in the whole world. So that's really obviously a really high ranking and really shows our academic caliber. Very importantly, we're the 4th most targeted university by the top UK employers. So it's all well and good to go to a really high ranked university, but the really important thing is, will the degree that you get at whatever level that is, will that be recognized by big sort of multinational employers who will want to sort of employ you after your degree? Well, that clearly shows that it is. We have excellent teaching quality and research, and many of our subjects are ranked in the top 100 subjects, so you can be guaranteed that you are going to get a really fantastic education. Now, the university is an outstanding university. It's famous and it's got wonderful rankings and reputation, but what's really important is also the city that you're living in. And Bristol's very fortunate to have this wonderful university, but be located in a fantastic city. And it really is a wonderful place to live. It's been voted the best place to live outside of London, in the UK, of course. Over the years, I think in the last sort of 5 or 6 years, Bristol's been voted the best city to live in the UK 4 or 5 times in various different sources. So in everything from in the national press all the way through to in polls that are done by university level students, and a variety of different sources. And it's a very liberal city. It was the green capital of Europe just a few years ago. It's been voted the best city in the UK for student life, a very kind, friendly and welcoming city, and extremely colourful as well. It won a poll recently of one of the world's most colourful cities, as you can see here from the beautiful houses that are along our harbour side. So it's a really fantastic city to live in, as well as obviously being a really good university. So what do we offer? Well, across all the different levels of pregrado, postgrado, we offer a variety of different options. So we have 6 faculties. In the arts faculty, we have the standard arts degrees you'd imagine: English, history, film and television, innovation courses, music. Social sciences and law is very popular, as that contains our accounting, economics, finance, management and business style degrees, as well as our politics and international relations and our law faculty. Engineering is extremely big at the university. We have the largest aerospace engineering centre in all of Europe is in the north of the city of Bristol. So you have huge companies like Rolls-Royce and Airbus, Augusta-Westland, GKN. These are huge engineering companies that are located in Bristol, and therefore engineering is very big with us and very, very good for employability. We offer a broad range: aerospace, mechanical, electrical, civil, structural engineering, and of course we have a very good computer science department to go along with that. We offer a lot of pure sciences, so chemistry, physics, maths, zoology, biology, these kind of areas. We offer a range of health sciences, so we are one of few universities in the UK that offers medicine, veterinary and dentistry, as well as other forms of that like veterinary nursing and anatomy. And then of course the life sciences, so those sort of very much the science behind medicine, things like biochemistry, the psychology, cellular molecular medicine, cancer biology and immunology, virology, these kind of very sort of specific scientific medical related areas. So people often ask us, well, what is happening at the moment? Obviously, we understand that across the world, this is a very challenging time. There is a global pandemic, and people want to be assured, particularly students and their parents, really want to be, reassured about what is happening and how admissions for this year is going to be affected. Of course, the university, we are working extremely hard to make sure that we are fully prepared for welcoming students this September, and we are intending to welcome students this September. But of course, we are really at the beholden to government advice, and the university is working very closely, as well as many UK universities, with government representatives, and our advice is constantly changing. If you want the latest updates, you can go to the Bristol website and type in coronavirus, and there is a huge amount of information there to help and support students with the very latest information. Where we have students who have been affected by the coronavirus, meaning that their grades have not been able to be produced, so in other words, maybe they have had their exams have been cancelled or delayed, or perhaps they have for whatever reason, had certain testing that they've been unable to take. The university is trying to be very flexible, and we are accepting, in many cases, grades where assessment has not been possible or has significantly changed. And we are, of course, monitoring qualifications very closely, where results are not going to be released on time and where there has been significant delays. And again, you can contact us. If you click on this link, or you go onto the website and go onto that link there, we will be able to answer that questions about that for you. We are also being very flexible with our English language entry requirements as well. So we have many students who typically would take an IELTS test or a TOEFL test, and obviously we still welcome those, but we understand the difficulties that those have now come under following the pandemic. So we are now accepting a variety of different tests, including things like Duolingo, Pearson Versant, and the IELTS indicator. And of course, you can now take the TOEFL at home test as well. Our pre-sessional courses, so the intensive English courses that would be taken before coming to university for students who are looking for a little bit of extra support and help with their English, and that are 10 and 6 weeks. These are now going to be only delivered online. And to provide you with a little bit more information about those, we are still intending to have the same learning outcomes as we would have had if it was face-to-face. We've invested a significant amount of resource into our pre-sessional courses, and we still feel that we are able to provide just as good an educational experience as if it was if students were physically in the UK. There will still be small group teaching of up to 16 students, so you will not be in sort of an enormous group. You will still get a little bit more personal attention. There will be interaction with other classmates and other teachers. There's going to be no live exams at the university. There will be opportunity for regular feedback. And we've invested in a lot of software to help and support students during this time. And again, you can go onto the University of Bristol's website and you can type in pre-sessional, and there is full information there about what we have done to support students with their studies. We should also say as well that we are aware that there are very different time zones, and we are making provision to support students from all different time zones around the world. Now, the same applies for our International Foundation Programme. So for some students, they'll be coming to the university 1 year early, and they'll be doing the International Foundation Programme. Now, the IFP, as we call it, we have now confirmed some details about that. That will have one start date, and that will be on the 5th of October. If students are, for whatever reason, unable to travel to the university, they can still start the IFP and do that for as long as they need, and they can do that online. So that will be no detriment to International Foundation students. International Foundation students tend to be students who are taking a year before they start a Pregrado, an undergraduate degree in the UK. But critically, I think it's really important to note that with our foundation program, you are immediately a part of the university. You are not, you are not taken away from the university and the students at the university. You are instantly integrated into the Bristol community and made to feel very at home. So you can feel like you are part of the university while you are studying on the foundation program. And I'm sure Victoria may talk about that a little bit later. Other considerations to take into account, obviously there will be students with currently thinking of coming this September and holding offers at undergraduate and postgraduate level. At undergraduate level, we are considering deferral, so students who are a little bit unsure and may wish to defer for 1 year. up until the 31st of July. So our current university policy is up until the 31st of July, we will consider undergraduate deferrals. But after that date, they would not be considered. So that's something to certainly bear in mind if that's something that you're thinking about. For postgraduate deferrals, that is done on a case-by-case basis at the moment. And our policy for that is sort of ongoing at the moment. We haven't been able to agree a blanket policy for that across the board because of the difficulty of different master's programs and the requirements for those. And look, I think obviously the question that many people have here is, you know, will I be able to defer? What will the impact be with my exams being delayed or my results not being available until after the start date? We will deal with every single student as best we can. We will try and help and support you. We will ask you for your specific considerations, and we will do everything we can to make sure that we take into account all the factors that may have, have arisen due to this pandemic. So, moving on to arriving this September. Obviously, we are still open as a university. We are looking forward to welcoming students this September into the university. So what will that look like? If you are a student and you have an offer from the University of Bristol and you're going to come to Bristol, what will it look like? What will the picture be? Because it will obviously not be business as usual. It will not be the same as normal with the current pandemic. So we are currently looking at a 5th of October start date, with face-to-face teaching being starting from the 19th of October. So the initial couple of weeks will be done remotely, will be done online, even if you are in the UK, and then face-to-face teaching will start on the 19th. We are being very flexible, and we're looking at sort of a very much a blended approach. So what that may look like would be, let's say, for example, we would have large-scale lectures, and students will go to lectures every day at universities. Well, large lectures with many people in a lecture hall, those will be online. So we will offer those online because obviously student safety is our #1 priority, and it would not be, sort of sensible for the university to encourage lectures with students. However, the tutorials, the seminars, and the small group teaching that students have, where they have a lot of opportunity to meet professors and discuss topics and get advice and help and support, that will be done face-to-face. We will obviously make sure that we use all the right social distancing precautions and put in place lots of different things to make sure that students are safe and cared for and looked after. But we're going to create learning bubbles. So we're going to put students into sort of learning bubbles and ensure that they are able to get that access that they need. The online elements of the teaching as well, I think it's very important to say, is that a lot of this will be recorded, very much like this webinar. So what that means is that, let's say there is a lecture that you are unable to attend online for whatever reason, the lectures will be recorded. And so you will be able to log in at a later point and gain access to that information. So the fact that you are not able to, or you miss maybe a lecture at a certain time, that will not impact you on your studies. And again, this information is sort of, we are constantly working to update this and provide the very latest information. But as you can see, the university has taken this very seriously and has provided a huge amount of support for students to make sure that you can still come this September and have a fantastic opportunity. Now, as well as the academic side of that, there is a range of different student support available at the university away from the academic side. So as you can see here, not just in the academic side, we will have things like residential life advisors. So in your accommodation at the university, we have people who are placed to offer support. We have things like the Big White Wall, which is where students can go and post online and ask questions of specific individuals at the university. We have a variety of different telephone and help support lines. The careers service, which is very important and supports many students in applying for jobs and applying for sort of future career opportunities, that has now moved all online. And of course, the post-study work visa, which I think I've already answered a question about at the moment, that will be accessible for all students graduating in the summer of 2021 and beyond. So that has been an assurance that has been given to UK universities by the UK government. The official process has not been agreed yet, but we have been assured by the government that that is happening. So students will be able to access the post-study work visa from the summer of 2021. So any student arriving this September for a year or more course will be able to have the post-study work visa at the end of their course, which is really important. In terms of sort of the general health and looking after our students, we of course have a huge amount of estates staff at the university, and they have been given a lot more resource at the moment to make sure that all the buildings are clean and that there are a lot of things like hand sanitizer available in all the different sort of buildings to make sure the students are sort of safe. The university will be able to help and support students with providing masks and other protective equipment. There is obviously in the UK we have the National Health Service, so as part of your application you will have to for your visa you will have to apply and pay an NHS surcharge, and we have local doctor services and a hospital right on the campus to help students. We are helping to provide testing, and international students will always be able to access these services just as much as students from the EU or from the UK will be able to as well. We treat all our students equally and everyone will be very well looked after. So when you arrive, this sort of you know, the extracurricular activities, the student societies, the clubs, the sports teams, and the welcome weeks are a very important part. And what we are doing with those is obviously we do not want students to miss out on those opportunities, particularly those opportunities to meet people, make friends, and really settle and welcome at the university and feel at home. So the Student Union, which is the elected body of students by other students who provide all the different services, they are going to organise a full range of welcome activities, again for all students. So there'll be a lot of online activities like quizzes, talent shows, language exchanges. They will work with all the different student groups to help support this. As the guidance changes from the government and we are able to reopen social spaces, we will do that, but that will be done quite slowly and in a cautious manner to make sure that it is still safe. As we mentioned, the career support is still there. So there'll be internships, mentoring schemes as students get involved in the Bristol Plus Award, which provides students with some extracurricular activities to get involved in or some extra study, and that Plus Award will then be mentioned on your degree certificates. And of course there's an opportunity to look for local work, which is starting now that the UK is starting to reopen. We imagine by September there will be an abundance of local work opportunities. We have over 300 different clubs and societies. We've got sports clubs. You can play sport at any level you want. So if you are, you know, if you're a nationally ranked soccer player and you want to play soccer for the university first team and potentially higher, we can offer that to you, no problem. We have an elite sports unit at the university. However, if you're just interested in playing you know, tennis with some friends, or you really enjoy rowing or sailing and you want to do that at a more social or a friendly level, the university has a range of different opportunities for you to get involved at whatever level you want. We currently have a range of different developments going on. So the university is pumping millions of pounds into things like the Student Union, which is going to be completely refurbished. We are building a £350 million business campus down at Bristol Temple Meads train station. And we are building a brand new student hub as well, which again will provide further access and support for students. So accommodation. A lot of students have asked us questions over the last few months about accommodation and of course the safety of this accommodation and the opportunities, the availability of accommodation with coronavirus and what to do with applying. Again, we are, you know, following government guidance as closely as we can to make sure that it is as safe as possible. And what we are going to do is we're going to create these sort of social bubbles so that people in the accommodation will be asked in the short term to stay in their individual sort of social bubble, so that you will still be able to move around your accommodation, mix with other students and see other people, but we would not encourage students to sort of mix with other students from other different accommodation blocks in social bubbles or outside of their studies, because obviously we must be safe and we must be secure, and we obviously do not want to have an outbreak of the virus. There will be a huge range of peer and academic support at the university accommodation. So again, if you need guidance or help, there will always be somebody on hand. We currently would expect that the students may have to complete a period of quarantine in the halls of residence. The induction program that we have offered obviously has that in mind, because we have a huge range of online activities. Now, that is the current guidance. We do not know if that will be the same guidance in September, because we do not know at what stage we will be with the virus, but that is our current guidance. But as we say, we are constantly, again, working with local government providers and the national government to ensure that we are providing students with the very safest accommodation. And the accommodation itself, there's 30 different buildings that you can choose for. We have accommodation for just undergraduate students and for just postgraduate students, and you can choose from anything from shared rooms, single rooms, ensuite, apartments, and each accommodation block has its own different social activities, has its own support services available at that accommodation. So really everything that you would need at the university is located in your accommodation block. To give you an idea of what this would look like, the blue shaded area just to the middle bottom of the screen here, that is the University of Bristol. That's where all of the different, or the vast majority of the buildings are located. And you can see here all the different university options that we have. So we have some that come down towards the harbour side and in the city centre. In the North Village, which is at the top left of the screen, you will see we have our sort of 6 big accommodation blocks, and that's a huge accommodation centre for undergraduate students. Students who are there, they get a free bus pass, and the buses run 20 hours a day, every 10 minutes, right into the city centre, and are only for students. So you get a lot of support services, and students use them all the time. So, applying to Bristol, what's next? David will talk a little bit about this in his section, but just to give you an overview, you make an application. Sort of a general overview. A student would make an application. You would then receive what's called an offer from the University of Bristol. You would then, once you've received that offer, if you've met the conditions of that offer, you pay your deposit. You can get your offer confirmed. At that point, you're able to apply for your accommodation. So you put your name down on the accommodation list, and the accommodation office would contact you with those details. You would then apply for your visa, so you would get your CAS from the university, and again, this is something that Anglo Latino supports all students with, helping them through the process. And once that is done and you've obtained that, you are able then to travel to the university and start your studies. So again, any conditions that there will be detailed in your offer. Unless you hold EU or UK citizenship, excuse me, you will need a Tier 4 visa to come to the UK. So it's very important that if you are intending to do that, you do apply. You cannot apply any more than 3 months before the start of your course. And that's a very important thing. So it's 3 months before the start of your course when you can apply. And there's some general guidance online that you can see there. We, of course, have visa support services at the university. And again, if you just go to the university website and type in visas, there's a whole range of different supports. Once you arrive in the UK, whether you arrive to London, into Heathrow Airport, or whether you arrive into Bristol Airport, we have a whole range of ambassadors who can meet you, and you can sign up for the meet and greet service, so that when you arrive after maybe a long flight and you get to Bristol Airport and you're tired, it's been, obviously a long time traveling, somebody is waiting to meet you, like this student ambassador here, wearing his red Bristol t-shirt, holding a big sign that says University of Bristol. So you get off the plane, you meet somebody, and if you sign up for the meet and greet service, they will then, they can put you on a bus with other students and say, okay, on the bus, and take you to the university directly. So we make it very easy for students once you arrive. And just to sort of wrap up a little bit, a few pictures. It's always nice to finish with a few pictures so you can actually visualize what it is that we look like. So this is Park Street, which is a street that runs right in the heart of the city of Bristol. It's actually quite a steep hill. And at the top of this street, you can see a lot of the different buildings that would be around the university. Just at the bottom, on the top, excuse me, at the top right, you can see Bristol Cathedral there, and the building just in front of that, the arched building, that is where the town hall is and where the Mayor of Bristol, where his office is. We have a beautiful harbour side, which I mentioned before. You can walk to this in just a few minutes from the university, and there's a variety of different activities to do in the harbour side, obviously a variety of different maritime activities. Clifton is the heart of our campus, and many of our buildings are here. So Royal Fort House on the left. We have our new £55 million Life Sciences building, which is there in the middle, and that opened just a few years ago. And then on the right-hand side there, that is Senate House, which is the administrative hub of the university, and the brand new sports centre, which opened just last year and has brand new facilities. This is the Clifton Suspension Bridge. This is a very iconic picture. The suspension bridge is synonymous with Bristol, and it was built by Isambard Kingdom Brunel, who's one of the UK's most famous engineer. And you will see in the background of this picture a lot of hot air balloons. Bristol is the home of the International Balloon Fiesta. So every year in August, we have an international hot air balloon fiesta, and literally the sky is filled with hundreds and hundreds of hot air balloons, and it makes for some fantastic photography, and it's a really good day out with all of your friends as well. Just to move on, this is sort of the campus from the air. So as you see this, from the bottom right of your picture, going uphill slightly, that's Park Street, and then the sort of big tower, that is the Wills Memorial Building. And lots just behind that, you can see where there's the green space in the middle of the picture. All of this is university buildings, and this is where the university is. So it's a very beautiful campus. It's very easy to walk around, and it's just a really nice place to come and be a student. Woodland Road is a road full of old villas that have been reconverted and have had sort of a huge makeover. And this is the home to our Faculty of Arts, Social Sciences and Law. The gardens around Royal Fort House, and here we have a lot of our science buildings. The Student Union building has the Centre for Academic Language and Development, which is where the International Foundation students will study. It also houses our swimming pool, our Innovation Centre, and the Balloon Bar and Cafe. And that is the presentation. So I thank you very much for your time and your patience. You can obviously access university on social media. So there's our Insta and our Facebook accounts. So please do follow us. That would be great. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to hand over to David, who is going to take you through a few quick slides. And thank you very much. I will be on this call, will obviously be on the webinar to answer any questions slightly later on. But just for now, I'll just mute myself and then hand over to David. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Gary. Y muchas gracias, Gary, por su presentación muy interesante, muy detallado. Y pues yo voy a hablar en español. Sé que las preguntas, mucha gente aquí presente habla muy bien inglés, pero para que todo quede claro de lo que estoy comentando, y como dice Gary, alguna duda que tengan en español o inglés, con mucho gusto contestamos. Aquí lo que voy a platicar un poco más a detalle es el apoyo que damos aquí en Anglo Latino para los estudiantes postulando para la Universidad de Bristol. Mucha gente al iniciar este proceso o tener un interés en estudiar en la Universidad de Bristol tiene la idea que va a ser un proceso bastante difícil, un trámite tardado y pues con muchos requisitos. Y pues realmente espero que Victoria también nos puede dar su experiencia sobre este punto. Creo que no es un procedimiento tan difícil, tan exigente. Entonces, lo primero es que ustedes, revisando la información de los programas de estudios de la Universidad de Bristol, escogen el programa de estudios que les interesa. Ese es el primer punto. A veces no está tan claro porque son tantos programas de estudio que ofrece la Universidad de Bristol, pero ustedes pueden contactarnos e indicar su área de interés, cuáles son los programas de estudio que les llaman la atención, y les damos apoyo en revisar las opciones que les pueden ser de interés, indicándoles la información más detallada que pueden consultar para llegar a una decisión en cuál de las opciones va a ser su aplicación. Esa es obviamente una decisión muy importante. A veces hay gente que tiene muy claro lo que quieren, otra gente que no tanto, entonces apoyamos los dos para que lleguen a la decisión más adecuada en cada caso. También, una vez que hemos visto el programa de estudios que queremos postular, pedimos que se nos envíen de antemano sus documentos de aplicación, que no son tantos, pedimos boletas de calificación, transcripciones, y lo que hacemos en Anglo-Latino es revisar toda la documentación. Ha habido un par de preguntas en el chat, en el Q&A durante la presentación de Gary, preguntando precisamente por qué son las calificaciones que tengo que tener para poder entrar a la universidad. Entonces, exactamente eso es lo que revisamos con ustedes. Checamos que todo esté en orden, que cuenten con tanto las calificaciones como la preparación necesaria para entrar en el programa de estudios pretendido. Y una vez que confirmemos que toda la documentación esté lista, pues les enviamos, en el caso de maestrías y doctorados, les confirmamos la liga de aplicación directamente al programa de estudios pretendido. Si es para carrera, es a través de la página de UCAS, que también explicamos todo el proceso ahí, o en el caso de Foundation, que es el programa que Victoria acaba de terminar ahí en Bristol, también es una aplicación directamente a la universidad y proporcionamos esta información. Una vez que enviamos la solicitud, ustedes van a recibir una confirmación de la universidad y esperemos también una oferta en unas cuantas semanas. Y con esa oferta, o aún antes, una de las preguntas que contesté en el chat fue acerca de la beca Think Big que ofrece la universidad. Y estas becas que son disponibles cada año, tanto para estudiantes de carrera como de maestría, no son becas para doctorado. Ustedes, una vez que mandan la solicitud y tienen un número de aplicante, pueden postular ya para la beca, no tienen que esperar para tener una oferta. Entonces, sí, también apoyamos en eso. Para esa beca, la universidad nos pide que se escriba un ensayo detallando el por qué te deben considerar para esa beca. Y también nosotros apoyamos con esa parte, revisando el ensayo que preparan para que se muestren en la mejor luz para que tengan mayor oportunidad de ser seleccionados para la beca. Gary también mencionó lo del trámite de la visa. Sí hay apoyo de la universidad y la página se nos indicó Gary, pero también nosotros aquí en Anglo-Latino les acompañamos, les explicamos todo el procedimiento para que no haya tropiezos en ese punto final, que es el punto más importante finalmente, que si llegan a tener una oferta de Bristol y cumplen con todos los requisitos, tanto académicos como de inglés, la universidad va a emitir un documento digital que se llama CAS, Confirmation for Acceptance Study, y con ese documento pasamos al trámite de la visa y no está tan tardado ni complicado como a veces se comenta en las redes sociales. Nosotros apoyamos. Gary ya mencionó que solo se puede aplicar para la visa dentro de los 3 meses anteriores al comienzo de sus estudios en Bristol. Entonces, no es algo que podemos ver con mucha antelación. Y realmente, como digo, es un proceso bastante rápido. Es una solicitud en línea y luego termina con una cita en la oficina de la embajada en su país de origen. Y después de esa cita, los documentos les regresarán con la visa confirmada dentro de 10 a 15 días hábiles. Entonces, no es un proceso súper tardado ni tan complicado, pero de todas formas, nosotros les acompañamos como en todo el demás proceso para asegurar que logran bien la visa para poder finalmente viajar al Reino Unido y llegar a Bristol, sea a través de Londres o del aeropuerto mismo de Bristol. Gary, si me puedes pasar la próxima. Gracias. Entonces, eso resume, perdón, un poco lo que hacemos nosotros. Orientación, todo nuestro apoyo y asesoría personalizada es gratis. revisión de documentos, el acompañamiento por todo el proceso. Y además las becas Think Big de la universidad, les avisamos de las diferentes becas disponibles según el programa de estudios al que están postulando. Bristol tiene varios convenios en América Latina para apoyar sobre todo para posgrados, tanto maestría para doctorado. Entonces, también les apoyamos con ese proceso, también checando su documentación y dándoles indicaciones para que tengan la mejor opción de lograr la beca que están buscando y lo que ya mencioné, la visa. Y todos nuestros apoyos son sin costo alguno. La próxima, por favor, Gary. Creo que es la última ya. Esos son nuestros contactos. Ya en el chat, con las preguntas que han llegado, he dejado ese correo, que es un correo general nuestro para cualquier duda que tengan. Pueden escribirnos también a través de nuestra página, se pueden poner en contacto con nosotros o por WhatsApp, hay un número y estamos como también la universidad en todas las redes sociales. Muchos de ustedes habrán recibido información de este webinar a través de nuestro Facebook. Perdóname. Entonces, eso fue, perdóname, todo de mi parte. Gary, creo que nos pedimos there's a slide for Victoria. Y Victoria, si nos puedes hablar un poco y quizás lo que yo comenté, tú nos puedes dar la experiencia a primera mano de lo que viviste tanto por el proceso de ingreso a Bristol como también tu experiencia desde que llegaste a la universidad. Te paso la palabra, Victoria, y muchas gracias por acompañarnos el día de hoy.
Thank you very much. Muchas gracias. Pues básicamente todo lo que ellos dijeron es verdad. Nada está out of context ni over the top. O sea, Bristol honestamente es uno de los sitios más chulos que ustedes pueden decidir estudiar. Es una ciudad que es muy welcoming, you know. Cuando llegas de una ya te sientes como que you belong. Yo hice el International Foundation Program y algo que muchas personas en el IFP le da miedo es no poder insertarse a la vida universitaria, totalmente irrelevante. O sea, as soon as you are a Bristol student, eres un Bristol student in all phases. Como parte del Foundation puedes estar en las actividades, puedes salir de fiesta, puedes ser parte de el halls, de los residences, de la vida del Bristol SU. También, como parte de University of Bristol, tienes muchísimas oportunidades de internships, de voluntariado, de hacer cursos. Varios cursos que yo hice son el Bristol Futures, que te ayudan a sacar el Bristol Plus Awards. Y el Bristol Plus Awards es algo que te da como un upgrade en tu resume o en tu degree, y ya cuando estás buscando trabajo, o estás buscando experiencias laborales, te ayuda muchísimo. También durante mi experiencia de primer año en la universidad, el Foundation es algo que yo recomiendo muchísimo si van a entrar a un Undergraduate, porque es un momento que te da para tu poder insertarte a la vida universitaria de UK, que tal vez es algo que it takes a little time to get used to. Cuando yo me mudé, yo tuve muchísimo cultural shock, que es algo que le decía a David, que es básicamente los británicos lo hacen todo diferente a nosotros los latinos, y tomó un poco, pero no, o sea, es una experiencia chulísima. La gente que ustedes van a conocer les van a cambiar la vida, porque son personas de todo el mundo. This is a melting pot of cultures. Hay una cantidad de personas, todos mis amigos, o sea, yo no tengo un amigo que tenga la misma nacionalidad que el otro. Las personas, la facultad está súper preparada, los profesores son increíbles, saben, o sea, hasta de lo que ustedes no se imaginan. Es una experiencia chulísima, de verdad. Y también la ciudad es preciosa. O sea, Bristol es una ciudad que tiene de todo para todo el mundo. Tiene clubs con reggaetón, así que todo bien. Tiene sitios que podemos estar afuera, que se puede bailar, que puedes ir de picnic, que tiene playas, pero ese no es el fuerte de Bristol. Son bonitas, pero hasta ahí. Pero además de eso, tiene muchísimos museos. Los museos normalmente son gratis para los estudiantes. Si ustedes van con su U-Card que les da la universidad, o solo tienen que pagar un small fee, o algo así, los museos son súper interesantes, súper increíbles. Tiene muchísimas galerías de arte para los que les guste. Tiene varios independent shops que tienen como un backstory, tiene theater. Es honestamente una ciudad muy creativa. Tiene un área que se llama el Isle, que es como una pequeña isla que está alejada de la ciudad, que es de artes, que es para las personas que le guste, digamos que es el graffiti, el arte moderno, las cosas así. Tiene en el Harborside el M-Shed, que es uno de los museos más increíbles. O sea, es un museo interactivo, tiene actividades en la ciudad, que son, hace poco, antes de que empezara el coronavirus, estaba el Lights Festival. Entonces, alrededor de toda la ciudad, habían Lights Festivals, que eran tipo como, aquí Banksy, si no saben quién es un artista, un street artist, y él tiene muchos drawings y paintings around the city. Y muchas de esas, they light it up con luces, o hicieron en varias partes de la ciudad, las iluminaban con luces, o hacían proyectos de luces y así. O sea, de verdad que aquí ustedes no se van a aburrir, es una ciudad increíble, y la universidad en sí te da un buen work, social life balance. O sea, no se van a sentir overwhelmed, pero tampoco se van a sentir como que están perdiendo el tiempo. Es un balance increíble, o sea, se los recomiendo 100%. And I'm not biased, lo digo en serio.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you very much, Victoria. I'll give you that $100 later. No, just joking. No. Yes, well, thank you very much. Just so that... Oh, yeah, sorry, David, go on, fire away.
Yeah, sorry, there was a question whilst Victoria was talking, so she wasn't able to answer, but I think she needs to answer it, about how did you get around doing practical things like opening a bank account and registering with...
It's a lot easier than you guys might think.
Yeah.
So, during Welcome Week is crucial. O sea, es tan importante que ustedes vayan a las actividades de Welcome Week. La universidad hace algo que se llama los wristbands. Entonces, con los wristbands, ustedes pueden ir a varias actividades que pasan during Welcome Week. Pero even if you don't have the wristbands, los day activities, hay un momento en el que pueden ir al Richmond Building, que es donde los IFP students cogen clases, y ahí hay International Ambassadors, que son los que te ayudan a abrir la cuenta de banco, a inscribirte con el NHS, a chequear lo del teléfono, abrir el contract. O sea, y son personas super nice, son estudiantes igual que nosotros, y cualquier pregunta que ustedes tengan, they're always there, y es toda la semana. O sea, como si fuera un centro de ayuda, está abierto toda la semana. Y if you don't make it during Welcome Week, igual los online services son súper rápidos. If you have their email también, aquí te responden los emails que a las 2 horas. O sea, no es algo que tú escribes y dices, tengo que mandar un follow-up email. O sea, está todo el mundo on top of everything, de
verdad. Thank you,
Wonderful.
Victoria.
Thank you.
Yeah, very, very good answer. So yeah, no problems with registering for a doctorate and all the practical things you found.
Yeah.
Straightforward, yes?
Yeah, of course. And even, por ejemplo, algo que en nuestra cultura tal vez no es muy normal, que, ay, me siento mal, voy al médico. Aquí, de verdad, your GP is your best friend. Cualquier cosa que ustedes necesiten, literalmente cualquier cosa. O sea, no importa la magnitud o lo poquito que se sienta, el GP está ahí para ayudarte. Son personas que te van a aceptar con lo que sea, te dan tu prescription. It's a very easy process. O sea, no es nada muy complicado. No es nada que tú tengas que planear todo el día para hacerlo, o sea, y ellos se acomodan también a tu schedule, because they understand as a student tienes cosas que tienes que hacer.
Well, thank you very much. I have a question here about, so I'm just going through the Q&As now, so if anybody does have any further questions, please type them in the Q&A and we will do our best to answer them. As we mentioned, this is all being recorded, this session. So you will be able to access this at another time. If you want to go back and refer to anything, please don't worry about that. So the question that we have, a question about scholarships available for music and Italian bachelor's programs. For this year, there are not scholarships available. because they have now closed because we're there. But for next year, for students who are interested in something like music and Italian, then yes, the Think Big scholarships at the University of Bristol, which offer anything from, well, there's a whole range of different awards. So it could be anything from sort of 5 to 10 to 20, even £20,000 of scholarship is available. The best thing about the Think Big scholarships is that you do not need to have any specific academic grades to apply for them. All you need to do is you answer 3 simple questions, and your award is judged on your answers to those 3 specific questions. So you do not need to have any sort of specific awards or any specific type of financial background or anything else. It's literally answers to 3 questions and anybody can apply. There are some awards for undergraduate students, so pregrados, and others for postgrados. And you apply to different ones. So it's really, really easy.
As a Think Big Scholar, cuando yo apliqué, básicamente algo que los va a ayudar mucho cuando hagan su aplicación es que las preguntas son muy personales, entonces las respuestas, por ende, tienen que ser muy personales. Traten de, en realidad, conectar, y no es tanto de cuántas palabras bonitas yo me sé, sino la esencia de lo que están escribiendo. O sea, y igual me pasó que llega un momento en el año que llegan a conocer las otras personas que también sacaron el Think Big, y conocí personas ambos de undergrad and postgrad, y me dijeron lo mismo, que what they did was just pour their hearts out. Y eso se nota de verdad.
Indeed.
Very good.
Okay. We have no other questions in the Q&A, which is good.
No,
it means hopefully that means we've done a good job.
Or no one understands.
Well, yes.
No, come on.
Yeah. Unless only people speak German, and there's been a terrible mix-up. But I don't think so. I think we've done a great job.
Gary, maybe I could repeat one that came. I did answer
Sure.
it. Give us a bit more information on it. Rodrigo was asking about funding for PhD programs at Bristol, that most of the funded programs were mainly for UK, EU being the European Union applicants. I answered that, yeah, that when funding is available, they define who can apply for that. Sometimes there is funding from the research councils that is available to international students. Can you give any, and I mentioned that we have agreements across Latin America to fund PhD and other studies. Is there anything you could add in terms of options for PhD funding via the university for students interested in PhD study?
Yeah, I think so. I think with PhDs is a tricky one because obviously it's very dependent on the specific department, or it's dependent on the specific person. The trick with a PhD is to find the right contact at the university. So let's say, for example, you were very interested in doing a PhD in education, and you had a specific area of education that you're interested in doing a PhD in. The critical thing, the most important thing to do, is to find the right person at the university. Now, sometimes that is not an easy process. You may have to spend some time going through the website and looking at the different members of staff and trying to find somebody who fits your profile. And then once you've done that, and you then need to contact that person and say, okay, I'm interested in studying a PhD and I'm looking for a supervisor. I already have written a research project, and this is the specific research project or the area of research I'm interested in. Now, once you've done that and you've started a conversation with that specific person or that academic member of staff, and that could be a member of staff at the University of Bristol or any UK university, they will be very aware of what are the different research and funding opportunities in that department or in that specific program or subject area. And it is that you need to do. There are, of course, we have many Latin American students who've come from all over, from Mexico, from Chile, from Brazil, from Dominican Republic, from
a lot of Peruvians here.
Yeah, huge numbers who've come and have studied doctorados with funding that has come from their local government. But that doesn't mean that there isn't local funding. But in the UK, if you are looking for other optional funding that you can potentially apply for, it is a process of hard work and basically a lot of investigaciones. You need to do a lot of research. You need to find the right contact in the right department, and then you need to ask them. And sometimes they will say, well, unfortunately there isn't, but if you don't do the research, if you don't find out, you can't. It just, in every subject is a little bit different. So unfortunately, there isn't one simple answer we can give, which would be, you know, like go onto this website or this page where it has all the information. At the research level, at the doctorado level, it really comes down to research funding for each department. And so you need to contact the people in that department to get the right answer. So I'm sorry I can't give a sort of a one-size-fits-all answer, but that is really what you need to do.
Yeah, just to add to that, Gary, that one of the things we do here at Anglo Latino is support particularly doctoral students, PhD students, in identify potential supervisors and put you in touch directly with those. And generally, I must say that Bristol's academics are extremely responsive. So, you know, anytime I contact them, I get an immediate response, and we're able to then put students in contact with hopefully the right people, and they can have those conversations you've just mentioned directly with the people who they'll be working with and who can advise them on potential funding that may be available internally. So any Rodrigo or anybody else for PhD, you're very welcome to contact myself or the Anglo Latino team. We will help you in your search and point you hopefully in the right direction to find the right options.
Yes, and if I could just reiterate that point, I mean, we have been working with Anglo Latino for, I mean, I don't know, years, since I've been at the university, so probably about over 10 years, I would imagine. So 10 years we've been working together, and we've got a very, you know, we've had a very close partnership. In that time, we have had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of students from Latin America, from all over the continent, well, from all over South America, and obviously into sort of Central and into Mexico as well. Hundreds of students have come and studied with us from Latin America through Anglo Latino. And that is at all levels. That is at undergraduate level, PhD level, and maestrías. So please use the services that we have, you know, 10 years of experience of helping and supporting students to come and study with us. And, you know, their services, they're there to help you out. It's virtually free. I mean, it's basically free. So, you know, you should please take use of these services, because it's there for you. They help support students, and they basically give you all the right guidance and advice that you need, and it's free. So please contact them, because it is really worth the effort, and the help that they give is invaluable to support students. It's just, it makes the process so much easier for you if somebody with a lot of experience tells you exactly what you need to do. So please, you know, don't hesitate, get in touch. I think somebody's asked here, do you have to pay fees to receive Anglo Latino services? No, gratis, it's free.
And everyone is really friendly and always, again, on top of everything. It's not a long way to where you have to, you know, get really nervous. Like, are they doing what I asked them? Do they know? Do they get my email? You're never going to feel like that with them.
I've got a question here about if somebody would like to do research, do they need an additional testing, like the GRE test that you would have in the United States? No, you don't. Things like GRE and these kind of things, they're much more American based. You don't need those things in the UK. There may be some very niche courses where you need a certain certificate. There are some sort of nuclear science courses where you might need a specific type of certificate, but in general, no, you do not need any of this additional testing that you would do maybe in the United States for us. So as we say, you know, and again, if any of you at the end of this webinar think, oh, I forgot to ask about a specific thing like that, you know, please contact Anglo Latino, because they can help and support you and answer this. And as I said, the services are free, so please do that. And yeah, you might as well. You've got nothing to lose, and hopefully we will see you in we'll see as many of you as possible in September and October in the university. And obviously in 2021, as we saw from the polls, we had quite a few interested in 2021 as well. And please, if I could ask those attendees, if you have colleagues or friends who are interested in the UK, but for whatever reason they haven't been able to watch this webinar today, please share the links with them so that they will be able to see them. The recording will be on the University of Bristol website as well, so people can log in and find that and watch that back. But please do that, because feel free to share it around, because obviously we're interested in welcoming as many Latin American students as possible. Okay, so we've got one more question. I've already finished the bachelor's here. Do I have to do the foundation year to do another bachelor's? No, I mean, no is the answer. It sounds like quite a specific case, Miguel, in that you've done one bachelor's and you're potentially interested in another. I would suggest that you contact Anglo-Latino there and maybe give them some details of what it is that you've studied and what it is that you're looking to do, and they should be able to give you the best advice possible, because it sounds like that's quite a specific case there. And if you do already have one bachelor's degree, there may obviously be options for another bachelor's, but you may also be looking at a master's. But I think if you were to just email Anglo-Latino, they will be able to give you a very quick answer of exactly what it is you should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for attending. Thank you both to David and Victoria. We really appreciate you being on the call, and obviously it's been great. And yes, Victoria, we'll look forward to seeing you in Bristol in September, and I'll be around, and well, hopefully I'll be in Latin America with David, enjoying, you know, enjoying lovely tacos and tortas and all the delicious food. If I'm allowed to travel back to Latin America ever again, hopefully
a lot to look forward to.
So as soon as I can get back there, that would be great. Going out for all the wonderful food and doing some bad dancing and being a frio inglés, as they say. Oh.
All things you can do here too.
Yeah, true.
Food and dancing is also available here.
Yeah. Bad dancing in my case. But yeah. Okay, well, thank you very much, everybody, for attending. We really appreciate it. As we say, you know, contact Anglo-Latino if you've got any questions. We had all those links for the university as well. And yes, this is recorded.
It's great.
So
the weather's great.
yes,
sorry,
yeah.
Andrea was asking about the weather. It's amazing. It's not like the rest of England. It doesn't rain as much as you think it does. Trust me. It's sunny now, and it's supposed to be raining, you know.
Well, that's
it was 30 degrees yesterday.
Yeah, that's right. In fact, a few days ago, we all got sunburned, didn't we?
Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for attending. As I say, this is recorded, so if you'd like to feedback to it at a later date, please do.
Where will we find the recording, Gary? Sorry.
Well, the recording I will email out afterwards to everybody who was an attendee. So there's a thing I can do. There's an email, and I can send that out to everybody. So I will do that.
Fantastic.
Okay. So I'm just going to stop the recording
great.
now. And yes. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and hopefully see you all in Bristol soon.
Hopefully. Bye.
Take care now. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Gary. Bye.